I don't know whether I deserve this or not. Me and my ex were in a long-distance relationship for 4 years. I wouldn't trade those 4 years for anything or anyone else in the world. She's cheated on me, has been having an emotional affair with a guy who knew she had a boyfriend, and would feign depression for her attention for the past few months. And when she finally told me she didn't care if I wanted to forgive her or not, she just wanted me to be the person to break up with her. And when she realized that that wasn't going to work, she broke up with me. Do I feel broken, hurt, betrayed, and all the other emotions way too common in here? Yes, I was lied to for months, and I was willing to put in the effort to keep our relationship because I truly love her. However, I've not been perfect myself. When I left my country and for my first 2 years abroad, she kept telling me she was okay with the relationship being open on my side. I had this told to me multiple times, and explicitly, despite my protests, that there would be a point she'd be uncomfortable with it. Enter coworker N. She was a young woman I met at a terrible job I was working at. She really wanted to get close to me, then started to tell me her tragic life story in a similar way to the previously mentioned app. I felt bad for her, wanted to help her, and started growing emotionally attached. I should mention that during this time, she was also trying to seduce me, but I wouldn't bite. I wanted to know her as a friend first and foremost before wanting to do anything physical. When my ex caught wind of this, she started panicking. I kept her on the loop on everything that me and this woman did, which was usually nothing more than our conversations during work. Once she caught on that, I truly felt something for this woman. She got angry and started to walk back her decision to open the relationship on my end, which put me in a really tough spot. Eventually, my ex saw that this woman had a boyfriend on social media and was just playing with me, which really broke my spirit, not because I felt anything romantic, but because I was genuinely alone in this new country for the longest time. For the longest time, not even my brother who lives nearby would check up on me or call. Just this one coworker from a crappy job. I started to stonewall this person, after which she tried to convince me that her mother killed herself to gain sympathy. I was again concerned, but after some digging, I realized she was full of crap again. And coincidentally, my boss fired her as well. When my ex caught on to how devastated I was that I was being lied to, she also got angry and thought I wanted to replace her. I need to make clear here that I never thought about leaving her. If anything, we both found the silver lining that now she understands how much she loves me and wants me to be monogamous and how much I want to hold on to that. That's strike one for me. I would, years later, meet this person randomly in the street, and I even told my ex about this meeting. Nothing charged, nothing happened. Just a chance occurrence that lasted no more than a few minutes of catching up. Strike two came when my first girlfriend from when I was 15 wanted to get in touch with me. I was still in touch with my previous ex, with the knowledge of my now ex. I generally tend to leave relationships on amicable terms. At first, she didn't want me to give her my number, but I figured since now I live on a different continent, and she also left our home country, it would just be a nice catch-up. I need to also mention that I've known this person since we were both 7 years old. She might be my second oldest friendship, despite not talking for much of our teen years. We hit it off immediately. We start a video call, and I'm insanely ashamed of what I did next, but I started flirting with her. She'd make a small comment opening the door for me, making sexually charged comments. We discussed these things for a short period and I stress this again, nothing happened, though I was trying to make something happen. She didn't undress. I didn't do that either. It was just a video call that had a very flirtatious attitude. This was after 3.8 years of me being an allure and struggling with a porn addiction. As soon as we hang up, the exact fucking moment, I catch what I've been doing and I'm instantly washed with regret and shame. I call my then GF and I tell her everything right that hour. I'm honest that it was my intention that was fucked up, not my childhood ex's. She cries and is upset for a bit, but then tells me she forgives me and it's all okay and to block her on everything, which I proceed to do for a while before feeling bad because this was, after all, a really old childhood friend who I feel doesn't deserve to be blocked just because I fucked up. And so I silently unblock her, knowing that whenever we talk next, I'd be more that strong enough to not do this again. And she does call again, and I also don't fall for any of it. I keep our texts short, and my responses cold and careless. Many months later, she calls me and is in a very talkative mood. I am in a very not talkative mood, and I'm waiting for I then GF to finish making breakfast or whatever so we can watch a TV show. After we hang up that call, which lasted near an hour, I feel ashamed again. And I tell my then Jeff that I had not blocked my childhood ex, that she'd been calling me, but I've been cold to her and very unresponsive, but she stayed on the line near an hour. And I accidentally say that I was about to watch a TV show with her instead of telling her that I was waiting to watch with you. My mistake. She is very upset at me and tells me she's really upset because she knows I'm saying this, because I know she'll forgive me. I tell her that no, I am equally expecting her to not want anything to do with me anymore. And when I realize she's most upset about that typo, I clarify that I never wanted to watch anything with my ex. Just her, as that was our TV show. That's strike two for me. I've been emotionally distant lately. I've been immature in dealing with her and her emotions. I've been blind to making her feel heard and respected, though that was never my intention. I've not been perfect, and that is especially illustrated in the last two stories. But I really, from the bottom of my heart, did love her and wanted to do nothing to hurt her. I really wanted her, at least to let me know clearly where I was going wrong, or if she wanted to end things. I would have accepted. I need to work on myself. Did I hurt her in the situations? I tried to always be honest with her. I really did want our relationship to work and wanted it to be completely honest. Every time I find myself slipping, I reach out to her and let her know so I don't completely fall off. Was I falling off? Was I wayward and causing more harm than I thought and didn't even know it? She's been seeing a guy behind my back for months as a friend, going to his home as study friends. Her friends knew about me. She blindsided me with the breakup, telling me how he kissed her and how. She was having feelings for another person, but she tried every way to make it sound like she didn't have a choice in the matter. Like every time she tried to leave, he'd become worse and start drinking and whatnot. And she felt obligated to be there for him. And she'd still grow feelings for him. And when I still tried to make things work, when I forgave her like she forgave me, and when I told her that anything she had a problem with me can be worked out, she insisted on ending things. She'd already made up her mind at least a month before she told me. This happened a few months after the phone call incident. She also asked me, what if coworker wasn't manipulative and lying, but was smart and lovely? To which I replied, but that's not who God sent into our lives. Do I deserve this? Am I the wayward partner here? Is long distance just doomed to fail, no matter how much both parties love each other? I'm lost here. Updates in the comments. A user said, toxic a fuck. Are you two trying to see who is a bigger pose? Really, pal? It for tat about who upstaged who. You need to walk away from each other now. This has just gone end up in flames. The op replied, look, I don't really know your story, and if that's what you think of the both of us, then that's what you think. But that's just the ugly in a relationship that's full of good and bad. That's just a few months of sour in years of someone I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Someone I deeply love, despite not seeing physically for years. There were growing pains, and it just needs some perspective. Again, I wouldn't give up this relationship for anything in this world. Yes, I fucked up, but I did my best to be honest and to keep us going. Despite my shortcomings, I really just don't know how bad things are. I always just took her at her word that she did forgive me and did still love me, and I really did mean it when I said the same. Another user said, 4 years long distance. Look, I was in the mile, and if I had a 4-year commitment to another country, because of my job, the antennas on my SO would be beeping like a 1940 broadcast radio. How long were you two together? Was this the total of the relationship? The op replied, "We've been together a little longer than the 4 years. We were dating a few months before I left. I left from the Middle East, and the plan was that she was going to come here with me after she finishes university. We're both still somewhat young. Distance is definitely an awful factor, especially in the communication breakdown near the end. But I genuinely do love her and have no doubt that she loved me as well. And I genuinely appreciate the impact she's had on my life." So the second user replied to Ope, "I wish you all the best in the future. Just remember, if you ever plan to have a loving relationship that you can nurture and care for, it can't be long distance. I know some folk get drawn into it, out of extenuating circumstances. But from what I've seen in my life, they don't work out in the end as someone always find a new toy to play with. Good luck in life." The op replied, "I always heard and always knew that more likely than not. Olders and like that. Somehow, I thought we'd be strong enough to be different. Funny enough, a few months after we went Eldred, and after a year of dating, she had a little bit of an incident, and we almost broke it off. And it was so easy for me back then. But then more info came out, and I changed my mind. Now, 4 years later, it is genuinely painful. Currently doing no contact, which was hard initially. I apologized for everything I realized I did wrong during our relationship after a month of reflection. Other things not mentioned in OP. Things we could have worked out in a serious conversation. I said I was over the relationship, but not over her, that I used to be afraid of her, but now I'm not, that I'll still love her, and I'm open to talking to her at any time, and that she shouldn't fear contacting me. But ever since then, radio silence. Time for me to move on as well. This story is over. What do you think about the story? What's your tips? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you have any similar experiences or stories to share, we'd love to hear them. That's all for today's story. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more deep dives into the intriguing world of human experiences. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.